Hi, it's Nancy with Garden Scroll. With all the house plants that we bring in, I still spend quite a bit of time, about 3 to 5 hours on those, but it's one day a week, not every day of the week. And we're enjoying the Christmas tree and the scenes of nature on it. I'm still cooking for our Thanksgiving family reunion. Hi. And today I'm turning on the Christmas lights while I cook. And I had to change my battery, but I was saying I'll probably be listening to some Christmas music also. And I know it's early for that, but sometimes you just gotta take it while you got it. And while I'm busy cooking anyway, I just like to have it in the background, just like I like having my Christmas tree in the background when I'm cooking. It just makes everything so much more festive. So I've got old and new things on the tree. How do you do your tree? I know for many years I put everything that the kids made, have little paper decorations that they made in Sunday school and in school, and just all that. And then after my daughter got old enough to have interest in putting up the tree, she did it for me for years, many years. And then one day we got out the stuff for her to do the tree, as always, and she had her own car and her own boyfriend, and she took off and didn't come back to fix the tree. So I decided I'll see if I can do this, and I really didn't know if I could. It had been so long since I'd done one, but I actually enjoyed it, and I've been enjoying doing it ever since. And I have nieces that do it too, and all my family does a Christmas tree, I think, but some of them are like me and they get overzealous a bit and get it up too early and enjoy it a little too much. Can you do that? I don't think so. Besides, it's pretty neat to have them following in their Aunt Nancy's footsteps. And I've got to learn about the newer lighting, because all I have are still these old type of plant lighting, and it's really not enough for as much as I have now. But we'll see how that goes too. I'm not sure, but we probably won't do that this year. But I do think there's probably a better way for my little plants to get light and get more light. But so far, my houseplants are doing good, and I'm so proud of them. I've lost maybe one begonia. I hope it's not lost. And this is probably lost, and this is a hibiscus. I wish I would never lose them. They're so beautiful, and I don't know which one this is. I told myself I was going to mark them on the bottom of the pot so I would know, but then I didn't get around to it. You know, everything just happens so fast. You just got to do the priority and let the other go sometimes. But this root could possibly still be alive, but I haven't had much luck with that. Once they get to looking like this, when I take them out, they've not really come back out. And this lovely little burgundy spike thing, I should have clipped that off this summer, but I'm not going to do it now because it just wouldn't be the right thing for me. I'm not that good with houseplants. But next summer or next spring, before it's too hot, I'll probably clip this off right about there and start a new plant with this top one and allow this bottom part to get hopefully a little thicker and wider. These that I was calling spikes, I believe are called a dragon tree, and I didn't know that. I'm just now learning too. There's so much that I'm just now beginning to learn. And this is a mandevilla, and I forgot if this is I think this is the pink mandevilla, but it's doing really great. It's actually trying to vine up there, and this beautiful little Cassandra is also doing well. And this little plant that my friend gave me was such a small little ivy, and it is just growing and growing and growing. If it keeps that up, it's going to be gorgeous by next spring to put back outside. And these over here are kind of a different story, though. But they're still alive. If they will just live for me, they will begin to grow again outside. So I'm hoping that they will. I don't know if I have any of my variegated now I can't think of the name. Swedish ivy. I can't find any of that in there, so it's a good thing I took a few little ones out to give away, and then I actually kept a couple of small ones, and they're still alive. They're not doing great, but they are still alive. Here's some of this ivy down here too. This little, I don't know what you call it either, but it's a pretty little ivy with a little kind of more of a forked leaf than the rounded ones, which I love them all. So, and this, of course, this little Abutilon has done really wonderful. I see I've got some yellow leaves. I'm going to take those off right now. They'll fall off if I don't, and I think I've heard that if you leave them, the plant will put all of its energies into trying to heal them, and it can't really heal them anyway, so it's best if you just take them off, and then it can put its energies into the rest of the healthy plant. And these little spikes I took in at the last minute, so they've actually already had some cold, but evidently it wasn't cold enough to kill them because they're doing fairly well also. And the plants in this room are also doing well. This is my ponytail plant, and this is my crown of thorns plant, which is doing well. And this is my, this is my polymer prints that I'm so besotted with. I just love this little plant, and it has laid down quite a bit, and I've lost a few leaves, so that's the way I do houseplants. But I'm still hoping and praying that it will go back out this spring and just get bigger and prettier than it was even last year. Wouldn't that be wonderful if that should actually happen? I'm gonna touch this little leaf right up here because, oh no, it's not. I thought it was turning brown and drying up, but it's not. It's just that different colors in the green of that. So they're still coming along. They're still doing, if they're alive, I'm thinking they're doing fine. Of course, I know sometimes they can do better, but they're still doing good, and I'm proud of them. This one little plant pot right here is the one that has my begonia, and I put it where the light would get it better still, in hopes that maybe that one little chrome or rhizome, whatever it is that begonias have, I hope that it will go ahead and live. It's not soggy. It does have a firm feel to it, but it doesn't have any green coming up out of it, so we'll just have to see how that will go. And then these are my little Swedish ivy that I was telling you about I saved, and these are the small pots. I have 2 of them that I saved, and I gave some to my sister Rose, my niece Lacey, and my nephew Clifton. And this one is actually doing pretty well. It doesn't look great, of course, but oh my, if you see these in the garden, they just fill out every way, and they grow long, and they also fill that whole, it won't be scraggly when it's outside. It will just fill out and be beautiful. I also brought my geraniums in. I just went out and gathered them up and put them all in one pot. So I'm hoping they will live through the winter too, and I can get them back out. And I also heard that you can do that with the pentas, and so that's what this little pot is. It's pentas, and I put them all pretty much the same way. I just put them all in one pot, and we'll see how much of them will live. Look at this beautiful foxtail fern. It's another of my favorites, maybe because it was so little for so long and then it began to grow for me. But I can tell, and I've known because I've had to pick up the needles, that a lot of these have gotten brown and fallen off. But hopefully I'll be able to save this, and it'll get bigger and more beautiful every year. And all my windows are full of plants, or not all of them, but a lot of them are full of little plants that are in glasses of water. And that's the ones that I was telling you that I actually spend several hours on it, but just once a week. And so it's always worth it if I can get those back in the garden in the spring. You may have already seen this when I showed you the flowers here in front, or the plants here in front. This is always a happening. Plants that dry out and fall off, which if you're not really into plants, I'm sure you wouldn't like that, because I'm pretty much into plants and I don't really particularly care for that part of it. But the windows are full of plants, and there'll be new hope for next year's garden. And I've learned to have my own extra little recipe book for our Thanksgiving family reunion. And this is my mom. She'll be coming up to my sister Rose's, and she will be peeling the potatoes for her. And then today I'm going to do Rice Krispie treats, and this is the recipe that my daughter wrote out for me. I used to have to hunt through all my recipe books to find each one, but not anymore. Now this one, I've even written it up here that I do not make these. Rosie makes these, and I think she kind of adds to this recipe, because her Hello Dolly bars are the most awesome Hello Dolly bars I've ever tasted. But then she kind of has the corner on making cookies in our family, and that's not to say the rest of us can't make a pretty good cookie, because we can, but there's something special about hers. I don't know. They're huge for one thing, but they're beautiful for another. But the taste is always what gets you. They're so wonderful. She's actually, I'll give her a plug, because she's actually going to be selling them this year for the first time at the Minco Honey Festival. If anybody wants to come and get one, they're delicious. So here's my Rice Krispie treats. And hopefully they'll look like fall wreaths when I'm done. These were actually made with a little donut maker thing, and I just pressed them in there and turned them over on wax paper. I just saw that I have another one. This one is shriveling up and going away, but look, there's another bloom. Isn't that beautiful? These are worth having even if they don't bloom outside, and they bloom in the winter time, and you get to enjoy this beautiful little spot of color for a while. So I'm not an artist. They still look delicious. Our kids will like it. A friend that I used to work with gave me a microwave recipe for peanut brittle. It tastes just like the other kind that you make on the stove. It's still a little messy and a little, have to work quick with it, but it's delicious. This is the periwinkle that we had, the pretty purple, light purple periwinkle. And I'm going to get some seeds off of here. So I was just about to think that I'd waited too long and all the seeds were gone, but then I broke open one that had a few of the little black seeds in it. So I'll save some of these, even though I'll probably end up buying periwinkle for next year, because it just seems to take so long for them to get to grow up when you plant them just from seed. But sometimes it's nice to plant some along the way too, so that you can have some fresh new ones by fall. So we're on to the peanut butter bonbons now. There's several people in our family that really like those, which I do too, but I always like just the plain old Reese's peanut butter cup. The miniatures are my favorite, not the little bitty ones, but I think the miniature Reese's have the absolute perfect ratio of chocolate and peanut butter. But I think you could just buy Reese's and you wouldn't have to go through all this myself. But my family just seemed to love it, so I'm making it for them. And when I don't have time to make something, this is usually the one I leave off. And not because I don't like it, but because, you know, these and coconut bonbons, you know, Almond Joy is pretty good. Today is November the 19th. And it's a beautiful day. Too bad we couldn't have some of these before the frost or cold, so that we could enjoy the garden a little longer. But it's all taken care of now as far as brought in, and things are going dormant. And I did get a few things done besides cooking. So this is one of those things I got done, is I got this little wren's tail all painted again. It still doesn't look really good, but it certainly, she looks, or he, whichever one it is, certainly looks more like a wren with its little tail at least slightly up. And I think I'm going to take this inside, or at least put it out of the winds and rains and snow, so that it won't just crack and break. So we have now had our Thanksgiving reunion, and it was wonderful. These are my sister's African violets. She can do those. So far I can only kill them. So hopefully I'll get there one day though. And although it's sad to see the garden all turn brown, it's also a good feeling to have accomplished the season of the garden. And it's good to go out when the days are pretty and still see that it's just beautiful to be outside, whether the garden is gorgeous or not. And usually you can find some beauty in the garden, no matter what season it is. But we enjoyed our family, we enjoyed our all that good food, and just being together and sharing the love that we have for each other. And hope your Thanksgiving was just as wonderful, and that your upcoming Christmas will just be a wonderful time for you and your family also. If you're enjoying the Garden Scrolls, please be sure to like and subscribe.